Welcome to EDU 709. My name is Mark Lyons, and I'll be showing you the online presentation of my Lesson 1 and Lesson 2. It's going to be pertaining to creative writing and using technology. A little bit about myself before we begin. Like I said, my name is Mark Lyons. I am the curriculum coach for the Bay Area ISD. I'm also the REMSI 6 director, which kind of takes care of some of the technology needs for the ISD. About how I plan to do this. When I first started, I had no idea exactly what I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted to use Bloxels. I'm not sure if you've used these before, but they're very popular in all the classrooms that I've provided them to, and teachers want to know more in detail on how to incorporate them into their curriculum. So I'm going to show you a quick little thing about what Bloxels looks like. It's a quick little demo, and I'll try to kind of talk over it. So the nice thing about this is you can use hands-on, you can use the iPad, and the app is free for any iPad, so you don't need to buy the actual physical kit, which runs around $50. So you build your own video game using Bloxels. The whole thing is the kids are learning about coding without even knowing that they're learning about coding. So it is a very, very cool thing. So let me get that off the screen here, and let me get back to the PowerPoint here. So before the lesson starts, students need to receive some type of training and time to explore just using Bloxels, because it's going to be a new and unique thing to them. But it's very, I don't want to say addicting, but it's very fun for the kids to develop something and then actually play it, 5 seconds after they develop it. Usually they'll find small mistakes, and then they can go back and rebuild their game that they just created. Another thing that we would have to review for this lesson is essential elements, because this lesson pertains to writing also. So developing the basics of the 5 essential elements, characters, settings, plots, the conflict, and finally the resolution. So those are all things that will need to be kind of reviewed and covered again, because it's going to be a main portion of the lesson. And then again, brainstorming in creating and developing. So what skills will the teacher need? The teacher is going to need to know 5 essential elements, which I expect them to do. But they can also tie this lesson into a lot of standards for ELA and the ITSE technology standards. All they need to really have is basic use of an iPad. They need to know how to use Bloxels and the cubes and the Bloxer Builder app. So what do the students need to know? They're going to need to know basic story creation, story mapping, like I said before, the 5 essential elements. How to use Google Docs, because we'll be using that for the lesson, and basic knowledge of how to use iPads. The camera will be used on the iPad, and some knowledge of Bloxels. So that's why I was kind of talking about you'd have to have some hands-on time before they actually get to do the lesson. So the lesson will start off with using the basic blocks. They'll need to know what each block represents in Bloxels. So the green blocks are terrain, blue or water, red's hazard, yellow's coins, purple is the enemies, pink is the power-ups, and orange are the exploding blocks where you can walk through, and the white are the storytelling blocks. So day 1 of lesson 1, you're going to have to review the essential elements with the students, start brainstorming, and you're going to have them start thinking about a historical event that they would like to write about. Now this could be a fictional historical event. That's fine. The remaining, or you have to remind the students that they're going to have to do a little bit of research, so I would provide them at least 50 minutes on that first day. Day 2, continue writing their story, because they're going to start writing a story about some type of historical event, and this is when they start using the Google Doc. They want to be putting their story in there, and no more than 1,000 words, because this is going to have to be a lesson that's going to need to be completed in 1 week. Day 3, the students will be provided with the app that's called Bloxels. They will start building their world, the story that they wrote. They're going to be building that into Bloxels, so their story will become a video game. So that's why it's important that they have detailed descriptions of their characters and the setting, because they're going to be making their characters in the setting right in the video game. Day 4, students will be able to build the world, the characters into the app. They'll be going through the setting and the conflict of the story, and the resolution, that's up to you if you're able to beat the game. In day 5, just finalizing, and the class will need to reflect. And another thing the teacher will need to add is they're not going to be able to really share their stories with others, because that's going to be a part of lesson 2. So no one will be able to share their game just yet. So some of the advantages of the stories or of the project, you cover multiple genres, multiple domains. Students will be able to research, create drafts, experiment with technology. The idea of creating a video game should be pretty interesting, and you should be able to hook quite a few kids, because they're always talking about that they want to be gamers. And being a gamer isn't just creating code, but it's also writing stories. And the nice thing is the Bloxel app is free for any iPad, so you don't need to buy the $50 board, but it is a nice thing to have a hands-on experience also. Disadvantages, like I said, the board is $50, and every student does need an iPad. It can be transferred to other subjects. That's not a problem. Totally transferable to any grade levels, any skill level. So part 2 of my lesson, it's just the reverse order, using technology for creative writing. So like I said before, I'm going to be having them imagine, create, and then play the game. This one, students will be paired up in groups of 2. So it's the same lesson, but with a twist. So day 1, teacher will explain the lesson to the students. Students will be asked not to share their stories, not just yet. Students will be paired up in groups of 2. Students will be allowed to play with each other's game multiple times. So student A and student B will switch iPads, and they will play the game. Day 2, students will begin writing the story using Google Docs based off their partner's Bloxel game. So they are going to be playing the game, looking at the characters, looking at the setting, looking at the problem, and taking notes while they're playing the game. And then they'll start developing a story from the game in their notes. So it's a little bit of a reverse order, kind of a neat thing to do. Day 3, students will finalize their papers. Again, very short papers, because it's just going to be writing from what they see in the video game. Day 4, students will share their stories with each other, compare, if it was the same thing that they were thinking, or if there was different things coming from there. And then day 5, there's a whole group discussion and reflection. And those are the 2 lessons that I've come up with using Bloxels, which ties in not just technology, but writing, math, or any other thing that you can think of. You can pretty much add into this. So thank you for listening, and I appreciate your time. And Until next time.